Have you ever wondered what a bond is and how to invest in one? Well, let's dive into the world of finance and unravel this mystery together. Imagine you're lending money to a friend and they promise to return it with a little extra as a thank you. That's essentially what a bond is. When you purchase a bond, you're essentially loaning money to an entity. This entity could be a corporation, a municipality, a state, or even a government, both within the US and abroad. These entities borrow your money for a certain period and promise to pay you a fixed interest rate. Now, why would they do that? Well, they use these funds to finance a variety of projects and activities. So in simple terms, when you buy a bond, you are lending money to the issuer in exchange for interest payments and the return of the bond's face value when it matures. Now that we know what a bond is, let's delve into the basics. A bond is essentially a loan, where you, the investor, are the lender. The entity issuing the bond is the borrower. This entity could be a government, a municipality, or a corporation. They issue bonds to raise funds for various projects or operations. First, let's talk about face value. The face value of a bond is the amount it's worth when it matures. This is the amount the issuer will pay back to the bondholder once the bond reaches its maturity date. For most bonds, this is typically a round figure like $1,000. The interest rate, also known as the coupon rate, is the interest that the issuer pays to the bondholder. This rate is expressed as a percentage of the bond's face value. For example, a bond with a face value of $1,000 and an interest rate of 5% will pay $50 in interest each year. The maturity date is the date when the bond is due to be paid back in full by the issuer. Bonds can have varying maturity dates, ranging from a few months to several decades. Now, where can you buy these bonds? You can purchase them directly from the issuer or from the secondary market. Buying from the issuer means you're buying a new bond, while buying from the secondary market means you're buying a bond from another investor. Here's something vital to understand. The price of a bond can fluctuate in the market. This means if you buy a bond for less than its face value, you could stand to make a profit when the bond matures. Conversely, if you buy a bond for more than its face value, you could end up making less than you initially invested. This fluctuation in price affects the yield, or return, you'll get from the bond. Yield is the total income you'll earn from a bond, taking into account both the interest payments and any gain or loss from the bond's price change. The key takeaway here is that bonds can provide a steady stream of income, but their value can change in the market. Investing always involves some level of risk, and bonds are no exception. Now let's dive into the risks and rewards of investing in bonds. While bonds are generally seen as a safer bet compared to stocks, they are not entirely risk-free. There are three main types of risks associated with bonds. The first is the risk of default. This is when the entity issuing the bond fails to make its promised payments. It's a rare occurrence, but it does happen, and when it does, it can sting. The second risk is interest rate risk. This happens when interest rates rise, causing the value of your bonds to drop. It's a bit like a seesaw. When one goes up, the other goes down. The third risk is inflation risk. If the rate of inflation outpaces the interest you're earning on your bonds, you could lose buying power. In other words, the money you get back when the bond matures may not stretch as far as you'd hoped. But it's not all doom and gloom. Bonds also come with rewards. They provide a steady income, which can be especially handy in retirement. Furthermore, they can help diversify your investment portfolio, spreading the risk around. Investing in bonds can be a savvy move, but like all investments, it's crucial to understand the risks. Remember, the key to successful investing is balance and understanding your tolerance for risk. You may now be wondering, how can one invest in bonds? Well, investing in bonds is a fascinating journey that begins with either purchasing directly from the issuer or through a brokerage account. Think of a brokerage account as your personal gateway to the world of bonds. It's like an online store, but instead of clothes or gadgets, you're shopping for investments. Now you may ask, what if I want a little bit of everything? That's where bond funds come into play. Imagine a buffet where you can sample a little bit of everything. Bond funds are similar. They are mutual funds that invest in a diverse portfolio of bonds. This way, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, but rather spreading your investment across a variety of bonds. But, just like any other investment, bonds require a bit of homework. It's crucial to understand the terms of the bond, such as its maturity date, interest rate, and the financial health of the issuer. This information can help you assess the risk and potential return on your investment. Don't forget, the world of bonds is vast and varied. Different types of bonds can serve different investment goals. It's like a puzzle, and you need to find the pieces that fit your financial picture. So, whether you're buying individual bonds or investing in a bond fund, it's essential to do your research and understand what you're investing in.